calls her kitten, and then, bam, her house is on fire, like full on inferno. Best Tuesday ever for that psycho ex. Angela.
Must we begin in media res with pyromania and diminutive pet names? For context, listeners, we are attempting to dissect Kristen Proby's When We Burn, a novel ostensibly about romance, finding purchase in the rugged Montana landscape.
Attempting? We are vivisecting. This book is basically a checklist with abs. Single dad? Check. Firefighter? Check. Tragic past? Double check. Brother's best friend who secretly pined for her forever. Except for that one time he knocked up her high school bully. Checkmate.
Your grasp of the narrative intricacies remains uniquely tangential. And it wasn't checkmate. It was a significant, potentially character-defining hypocrisy that,
oh, here we go. Mr. Moby Dick was a nuanced exploration of existential dread. It was a giant fish story. A Hab needed a Snickers. Just like Bridger here needed to keep it in his pants.
we are discussing When We Burn, not 19th century sedition. Allegories fueled by your questionable theories on blood sugar. Let's focus on the characters, shall we? Bridger Blackwell, fire chief, single father. Objectively, a smoke show, as the parlance goes.
Smoke show who apparently told poor Dani, "Oh, you're too young. You're my best friend's sister," then immediately runs off and makes a baby with the girl who probably gave Dani swirlies in the girl's bathroom. That's not a hero. That's my ex-boyfriend Chad. Remember Chad? The one who said he needed space, and then immediately updated his relationship status with my cousin Brenda.
While the parallels to your lamentable dating history are noted, Bridger's actions present a fascinating psychological conflict. Is it delayed gratification manifesting as self-sabotage, or simply profound hypocrisy masked by conventional masculine protectiveness? He cultivates this image of the stoic guardian.
Guardian who calls her kitten. Ah, can you imagine? Kitten, pass the remote. Kitten, did you pay the gas bill? I'd scratch his eyes out. Unless he looked like Bridger is supposed to look, then maybe, just maybe, I'd purr. Once.
And Dani Lexington, the traumatized kindergarten teacher. Her past is undeniably harrowing. The abusive father, the drowning attempt. Elements one reviewer bafflingly described as getting boring fast.
Okay, that reviewer needs therapy. But, I get it. Sometimes trauma is boring when it's just there. Okay, you panic. We get it. Do something. I don't know, key his truck, put Nair in his shampoo.
Oh, wait, that was Angela.
The ex.
Ah, yes. Angela, the narrative antagonist. A classic archetype, the scorned woman escalating to criminal acts. Burning down Dani's house seems disproportionate. Wouldn't you agree?
Disproportionate. She was Dani's high school bully and the baby mama. Burning the house down was probably item 3 on her to-do list right after get milk and plot world domination. Honestly, high five, Angela. Metaphorically, don't burn houses, kids. Unless, no, don't.
Please do not endorse arson. Even metaphorically. What about the intimacy? Reviewers highlighted the dirty talks. So much of it. And Bridger's use of good girl.
Oh, the good girl thing. See, That I get. It's primal. It's pride. Wait. Is he saying she's a good girl for putting up with his hypocritical Chad-like behavior? Suddenly less hot. Very confusing. Like that reviewer who hated the audiobook narrator's Irish accent. Was there even an Irish character?
I believe that reviewer may have been geographically confused. Which brings us to the crucial question. Is this book actually any good? Beyond the tropes and the questionable pet names?
Depends what you mean by good. Is it spicy? Yes. Does it feature a hot firefighter carrying a cute kid? Yes. Does it make you question the fundamental nature of long-term pining versus banging your crush's nemesis? Absolutely. But the insta-love, he sees her after years and is basically like, "You're mine now, kitten. Dude, pump the brakes. Buy her dinner first."
The pacing is rather abrupt. The purported years of pining feels somewhat undermined by the immediacy of the physical relationship and his declaration of ownership. It lacks narrative foreplay. Shall we say? It's all climax dollar. No build up. Like serving dessert before the appetizer.
Dessert. But some people like dessert first. We got a listener email, fake listener, obviously. Brenda from accounting, probably asking, is Bridger a romantic hero or just a walking red flag factory who happens to look good in turnout gear?
An astute question. Brenda from accounting. The text presents him as the former. Yet his backstory screams the latter. It's cognitive dissonance embodied in flannel. One could argue the author uses the external threat, Angela's arson, to distract from the internal inconsistencies of the hero. A narrative sleight of hand.
Or maybe he's just a dude. A hot, kinda dumb dude who made mistakes. Like, yeah, the bully thing was bad, capital BAD. But maybe he really did love Dani all along and just messed up. God, am I defending Chad again? What is wrong with me?
Perhaps you identify with the narrative's attempt to redeem flawed masculinity. Though, I must admit, while the plot borders on the ludicrous, particularly the neatly resolved arson subplot, there's a certain structural tidiness to it. Problem. Reaction. Ridiculously convenient resolution involving the entire extended family who seem to materialize whenever needed. It's formulaic, but the formula works for its intended audience.
Formulaic? It's like Hallmark banged Backdraft and their baby was raised by a smut writer. Okay, rating time. You first. Use the official Heart Book radio scale.
Very well. Considering the narrative whiplash, the questionable heroics, and the sheer audacity of the kitten. Nickname. I give. When we burn 4 out of 7 unresolved psychological complexes.
Weak. Okay, my turn. For the spice, the firefighter fantasy, and Angela getting what she deserved, allegedly. But docking points for the hypocrisy and making me defend Chad. I give it 5 out of 8 flaming bags of hypocrisy left on your doorstep.
That rating system makes less sense every week.
Sense is boring, like Moby Dick.
It was about the whale.
Next week, folks, we're tackling a real mind bender. My sentient toaster oven demands sacrifice. Apparently, it's a poignant metaphor for something.
I highly doubt that's a real book.
You doubt everything. This is Roxy Riot.
And Dr. Alastair Finch.
And you've been listening to Heartbook Radio. Don't touch that dial. Unless it's on fire, metaphorically.